This summer, when you think vacation, watch out.
Carconi!
The Griswolds are going to Europe.
Hey, Dad, look. Bedpans.
This is your chance to travel the continent with them.
Will you please slow down? The kids are exhausted.
Honey, it's the close in 15 minutes. There are 100,000 works of art to see. Come on.
Create your own ruins.
English are certainly,
Make new friends.
no harm done. Yes, they just doesn't really hurt much at all.
Visit distant relatives.
Well, there it is, kids. My motherland.
Dad, Grandma's from Chicago.
Shut up, Russ.
So, see the old country before there's nothing left. Chevy Chase in National Lampoon's European Vacation. The vacation getaway for the family everyone is trying to get away from. National Lampoon's European Vacation.
Hello, I'm Katie, and welcome back to Retromade, your pop culture rewind. Today, you better pack your bags and grab your phrasebook. Know what that is? Because we're headed back to 1985 for the 40th anniversary of National Lampoon's European Vacation. We'll relive the Griswold's chaotic trek across the continent while also diving into pop culture that defined the mid-'80s. I am very happy to welcome back Zoe from Backlook Cinema, the podcast. Thank you for coming back to join me for season 2, Zoe. What's new? What's up with the Backlook Cinema lately?
Thank you. It's good to be back. Well, we're closing in on our 200th episode. I actually pre-recorded that episode because I wanted to make sure that I get it out. It's going to be on my favorite movies, so I'm excited to talk about that. But upcoming now, it's on Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, and I'm excited about that because I actually like it better than Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
I don't remember. That's the sequel, right?
Right. That is
Okay.
the first sequel.
Well, so
And-
that's an example of you liking the sequel better than the original. Okay. All right. Go on.
Yeah. I mean, there are lots of examples that I could pull out. There's Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, which everybody acknowledges is way better than the first film. Most people believe that The Empire Strikes Back is way better than Star Wars, but that's to be expected because the production values are so much better. And it's kind of I don't want to say it's a downer, but it's a darker tale because in the second movie, the heroes don't actually triumph in the end. So it's an unusual ending and so on and so forth. There are so many other examples. There's none of these will be relevant to your interests. But another example is Captain America and when Captain America Civil War. And in that one, actually, it's Winter Soldier, I think, is first, and then Civil War. Either one of those are better than the first Captain America movie. So,
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to trust you. I've not seen them.
Yeah, I know. And you won't.
No, I will not.
As
I
a
will
matter
not.
of fact, I just watched two superhero movies almost back to back. So the Superman came out and then Fantastic Four came out. And I had a blast with both of those. And I recommend Superman to any dog lover. Anybody who loves a dog would love this movie. And I really loved that they put a bunch of comic book stuff in the movie that's not normally in the movie, especially Crypto. And it's just a touching movie that I truly enjoyed.
I've heard good things. I don't know. Maybe we'll see. Maybe I'll check it out. I am a very big dog lover.
Yeah.
Both dogs and big dogs. So, well, awesome. I'm looking forward to your 200th episode. But before we do, we are here to continue to celebrate summer with the European Vacation that came out 40 years ago. Now, we're going to open the time capsule from the summer of 1985. Now, we did already cover a lot of the pop culture with the wheel that we spin, the Retromade wheel with all of the categories in the Weird Science episode and the Breakfast Club episode. So instead of doing that, Zoe, I'm just going to ask you questions from the categories that we didn't land on for those. So whether you like it or not, that's what we're doing.
Awesome. Hit me.
Okay. I feel like, this is the mid 80s. There's lots of good things happening in the pop culture realm. Movies especially, I feel like. Now think back to 1985. There's a lot of iconic soundtracks in the top movies, unforgettable one-liners, and some of the biggest stars of the decade. Do you think that you can name any of the top 5 movies?
Probably not. And I believe that one of them should be Back to the Future.
Number 1.
But what else came out in 1985?
I think you could guess all but one of them. So you already got Back to the Future. Number 2 is one of the biggest comedians of the time.
He's one of the biggest comedians of that time? Oh my goodness, but there were so many.
True.
There's what's his name? Rodney Dangerfield, but I don't know if he had a movie in 1985. But he did come out with a bunch of movies. And even Andrew Dice Clay was big at one time. So
I would say the biggest comedian at the time, big movie star. There were multiple sequels to this movie, but this is the first one.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about Eddie Murphy, so you must be talking about Beverly Hills Cop.
Yes, yes. Yep. Now, number 3 and number 4, this is amazing, and it's very down my alley, up my alley, whichever you say. One of the biggest, I would say the biggest, one of 2 big action stars of the 80s. This particular gentleman has both the number 3 and the number 4 movie in 1985. What were they? Muscle Man.
So probably Arnold Schwarzenegger. So if it's Arnold Schwarzenegger, then you're shaking your head. No, it's not him.
The other one. The other one.
The other one. There are like 3 of them. So there's Arnold
really two top ones, right?
The 2 top ones. The other one is Sylvester Stallone.
Okay, and he has 2 movies.
He had 2 movies? Goodness gracious.
In 85.
Maybe one of them was Tequila Sunrise. Maybe one of them was one of the Rocky movies, maybe? Maybe Rocky 2?
Zoe, I'm disappointed in you. Okay, so number 3 is Rambo: First Blood Part 2.
Oh, that's so sad. That is sad. That's one of the earliest movies that I covered. That may have been the first one.
It was a really good one. And I have a dog named Rambo.
Right.
And number 4 is Rocky 4.
Oh, okay. So one of them was a Rocky movies. I just guessed the wrong one. They both came out in 1985?
Yeah, isn't that crazy? He has the number 3 and the number 4 movie.
He was cooking like that. He was cooking with kerosene and gasoline mixed together. And then he just set it on fire.
He definitely. And those are, oh man, Rocky 4 is my favorite Rocky movie. I have a dog named Balboa, so.
And as an aside, I think it's up your alley, not down your alley, because
You're
down
right.
your alley sounds dirty somehow.
You're right. You are correct. Number 5, I don't think you'll guess.
Okay.
But maybe with this clue, it's about old people and sci-fi.
Oh, I do know this one. It's Cocoon.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember that movie. I got to cover that one. This was in the midst of the Gutenberg era when he was triumphant. He was like on the top of his game. Every man wanted to be him. All the ladies wanted to be with him. He was in that era. And he had a bunch of movies, like a string of movies that came out right around the same time that just really elevated him. And then he's sort of just disappeared.
He did. He did. What happened to the
funny thing is that he hasn't disappeared. He just leveled to television. Did you see that thing with him during the California fires? I think it was last year.
Yes. Yes, I did. Yeah.
And he was talking to the reporter, and the reporter was like, "Can I have your name, sir?" And, he gave his name, Steve Gutenberg, and the reporter treated him like he's just a regular dude. That was the funniest thing in the world.
Probably because the reporter was like under 35, maybe. Didn't know who he was. Yeah.
You know what? To be honest, I probably wouldn't recognize him because I hadn't seen him in such a long time. So my only reference point is from his movies when he still had black hair and he was in really good shape. And now he looks like a regular dude and his hair's gone all gray. He looks way different than when he was much younger.
I don't know, Zoe, if you combine that with the very not typical name, Steve Gutenberg, I think I'd be like, are you the Steve Gutenberg? I think I would.
Right.
Let's do some commercials or some slogans. Commercial countdown. So kiss a little longer, laugh a little longer, stay close a little longer, longer with
Big Red.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good job.
This is back when we were forced to watch commercials. And so everybody knew all of the commercials. So I'm going to get some of these.
Well, there's one that you'll know, but if I sing it, it's the name of it. So we'll skip that one. They're magically delicious.
Hold on. They still do that one.
Uh-huh.
It's like Lucky Charms, isn't it?
That's Lucky Charms.
Yeah.
I wanted to do Ricola, but it's
Ricola.
Cola.
Yeah,
I don't know how to do that without giving it away. Let's see. Raise your hand if you're sure. What was the product?
I know it's deodorant.
Mm-hmm. I said the name of it in it.
Sure.
Yeah. And that doesn't exist anymore, does it?
It probably does. They just don't advertise like they used to. It's like I see all of the old brands. I don't see. I don't feel like there are any old brands that are missing. I feel like I see all like Tide is still around, or some. Even if the company falls under, somebody will pick up the the name, and they'll use that name and keep the name going.
Mm-hmm. I remember certain shampoos like Pert and Salon Selectives.
Maybe not Salon Selective. I thought maybe you were going to say Suave. I think I still see Suave.
There's this,
it's
that
funny
might still be around.
I don't shop for those anymore, so I don't. Which is kind of funny that I don't. I'm going to the fancier stuff. I think it started with when I was in my 20s and I was getting Axe. Every dude goes through the Axe phase.
Yep. That was a little later than 85, but yeah. Are you ready for stars and scandals?
All right. This is going to be fun.
Which two magazines caused a stir by publishing intimate photos of a rising pop star known for her bold persona that many saw as part of her image evolution? What two magazines were they, and who was the pop star?
Ooh, so I'm afraid I'm not going to get this. And the funny thing is that I used to watch Entertainment Tonight religiously. So I'm thinking that
Rising pop star, 85.
Maybe one of them was People magazine, and maybe one of them was maybe The Inquirer.
That's a good guess. I would say Intimate Photos leans more towards something a little more risque.
Risque? I can't think of it. And I'm not even sure what photos they're talking about. This is in the 1980s. Mm-hmm. So it could have been like Madonna. That's the only person I can think of.
It's Madonna. It is Madonna.
But I don't even know what she did, because the things that were always risque about her was like a lot of her music videos that they garnered a lot of attention. That people were upset of all of the sexualization in the videos. So if there was a real life scandal with some sex scandal that she may have been in, I don't know if I was all that tuned into it.
Well, I think people were just a little prudy. So the magazines are Playboy and Penthouse. So she probably posed for photos, and she was a rising pop star. And so people were like, I can't believe she would do such a thing.
You're saying professional photos, not paparazzi photos.
I don't know. So if anybody remembers, it just says that them publishing the photos, and I don't know if she posed for them or if they were paparazzi photos.
Well, I remember she famously posed for Playboy, and comedians used to make fun of it because she didn't shave. Like, she was like really hairy. So people made fun of her Playboy photos, and it was a big deal. I remember it was a big deal that was going out that Madonna was posing for Playboy, but I don't remember what happened with Penthouse. I don't remember her posing with Penthouse.
But yeah, it was Playboy and Penthouse. So she probably posed for them. And it was just in 85. She was like the new, still kind of new on the scene. And they're like, oh.
That's definitely scandalous, especially if you're a pop star. Mm-hmm. But it's like there were a lot of people doing it, or not a lot of celebrities, but it was kind of a thing to do, to pose for Playboy, or at the very least do an interview for Playboy or one of its affiliates. I remember there's a professional wrestler named Shawn Michaels, and he posed for Playgirl magazine.
Oh, really? It's attention, people about it.
So that was a big thing. And there were a couple other celebrities that did it, but yeah, if you really wanted to, I don't know, it's like instead of being a troll on the internet, what they did back then was posed for Playboy or Penthouse.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Which Hollywood actor whose death in 1985 brought the public's focus to a disease still widely misunderstood at the time? He died in Beverly Hills, leaving behind a legacy that changed the way that the disease was viewed. Who was it?
I'm thinking that you're talking about Rock Hudson, and the disease is AIDS.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I remember hearing about this, but I don't, like at the time, I was too young to recall what was happening.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember I was young too, but I remember that everybody was really talking about it. And one commentator, it was either a commentator or a celebrity, that was like, they should just call it the Rock Hudson disease because nobody was paying attention to it until Rock Hudson died from it.
Oh, yeah, because that was
Yeah.
pretty early, 85. Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously at that time they were suppressing the information about the disease. They wanted people to believe that it was only people in the LGBTQ community that was getting the disease.
Mm-hmm.
So specifically gay men.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't realize that regular people like themselves could get it.
Quote unquote.
Regular.
Mm-hmm.
I'm regular. I can't get it. Yes, you can. AIDS is an equal opportunity disease.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody can catch it. And that was one of the things that helped people get informed about it and treat it seriously.
Yeah, you're right. It says that he left behind a legacy that changed the way that the disease was viewed. Yeah. All right. In August of 1985, a pop icon married an actor known for his volatile reputation, with the wedding taking place in a dramatic clifftop ceremony. Who were they?
I'm sure I don't know this. Probably Sean Penn,
Yes.
maybe Madonna and Sean Penn.
Yeah, Madonna and Sean
did I
Penn.
get that
Remember when
right?
they were married for a short while?
I remember a couple of marriages. I remember Prince and Diana. I remember that marriage. And I think I remember people talking about Madonna and Sean Penn getting married.
Mhm.
Well, I don't think they stayed married that long either, did they?
No. Now here's
Yeah.
another one. Another marriage, short-lived. In 1985, a famous action star known for embodying a tough fighter spirit surprised many by marrying his much younger co-star from a box office hit. Remember? Their
Oh, are you
whirlwind
talking
romance, then a short-lived marriage marked by public drama and a divorce 2 years later. Who were they?
Are you talking about Rocky IV?
Mhm.
That was a movie, and it was a Sylvester Stallone and Bridget. Is it Nielsen?
Brigitte Nielsen. Yep.
Brigitte Nielsen. Yeah. And
Yeah.
she got some incredible tastes because I think, didn't they star in Cobra together also?
Yeah.
And then later on, Brigitte Nielsen starred in, it was a, what do you call it, reality show with Flavor Flav, and they had a short-lived relationship. She has some incredible tastes. Like, she's tolerant. She doesn't have a type. Let's put it that way. She doesn't seem to have a type.
Yeah, she's interesting. I do remember I loved that show. I watched every episode of it. She called him Foofy Foofy. I loved it. Yep. I was there for the craziness of it.
Yeah, it was called Flavor of Love.
Well, that was the surreal life. And then they had a
okay.
romance and then a spin-off. So Flava Flav got repopularized by that. And so then they
Right.
spun that off and did several seasons of Flavor of Love. And then that got spun off. And then that got spun off. So there were like 6 spin-offs from
Right.
that one romance. Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Like I Love New York. There was a few of them because, yeah. And I would say he's the exact opposite of Sylvester Stallone in every possible way.
Oh, really?
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, wild.
I agree wholeheartedly.
That's a wild romance, that one, because she's super tall too. Yeah.
Right.
Well, let's do maybe one more. I got to pick carefully. Which category?
Well, I like these questions. I like the clues that you supply, because otherwise I would be goose eggs over here.
Let's do fad flashback. This is actually prescient from our just now, what we just talked about. This television network launched in 1985, focused on music videos for an older audience, positioning itself as an alternative to a younger counterpart. What channel?
So you must be talking about VH1.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I got it.
And that's what, wasn't that what Surreal Life and Flavor of Love and all those shows were on?
I have no
VH1?
idea.
Pretty sure of it. Pretty sure of it.
I think the only reality television I watched was probably something like Cops or something similar.
It's funny because I didn't really get into like Road Rules, or I think I watched like one season of The Real World, like when it was still like real, like reality.
It felt real.
But I did like some of these VH1 shows, but I hate reality TV or trash TV, whatever you want to call it now. I don't watch any of those, like Kardashians or Vanderpump or whatever.
I've
It's odd.
never really gotten into it. I maybe seen like a couple of episodes of The Real World, and I was like, you know what? Not for me. I do like the parodies of The Real World. Those are funny.
Yeah. Okay, let's do 2 more questions from this category, and then we'll roll into the movie.
All
All right. Again, we're in 85. This historic event kicked off a worldwide phenomenon that brought together athletes for theatrical competition and entertainment. What was it?
Theatrical competition.
It was the first, I'll give you this additional clue. It was the first of this long-standing event.
This isn't an award show, is it?
Athletes and theatrical performance, or just don't get too caught up in the word theatrical. It's not theater, but it's entertainment.
Right.
Athletic entertainment.
Right. I mean, all I can think of is professional wrestling, but I know that's not what you're talking about. Oh,
it is, but it's the first. It is, but it's like
so
the
you're saying
event
this
is
is in
called
1985, so maybe you're talking about WrestleMania 1.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, got it. Sports entertainment is what they call it.
That is like a new term, though, right? They didn't used to call it that.
Yeah, it was throwing me off when you said theatrical. It was like, oh, theatrics and athletes, it can only be wrestling.
I know. Yeah, you're right. It was the first WrestleMania in 85. I don't think I realized that. I sort of assumed it was earlier than 85 for some reason.
Yeah, it seemed like it might have been earlier, but at the same time, it's something that could only happen in the 80s, because any earlier, then you have the situation where the wrestling organizations were divided up in the territories. And even like in 1985, they still had some of those territories. And WrestleMania basically broke that. It was like kind of broke up the territorial system.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Last one.
These are guesses. These aren't facts. These are guesses.
No, that tracks though. I bought it. Last question. This new service, debuting in 1985, offered classic television reruns after dark, aimed at a nostalgic, older demographic, but shared airtime with a children's channel.
So this would be Nick at Night, and it's on Nickelodeon.
Yes, Nick at Night.
Yes, I used to love Nickelodeon. I caught a lot of their content. And we used to have a Nickelodeon telephone. I missed that phone. It was a landline phone. And it had a crazy child's design. I really appreciated that phone. I have no idea what happened to it. But when it rang, instead of ringing like a regular telephone, it would sing the Nick theme. It would go, Nick, 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 Nickelodeon. I love that phone.
I forgot about that old time, like the original. You're right. That's what it was.
Yeah.
I loved Nick at Night. I can thank them that's how I got introduced to a lot of those old shows.
Yeah. And they had when it was still for kids, they had the Double Dare. I think I watched some of those shows.
I loved Double
And
Dare.
they had kids I don't know what channel those sitcoms came on, but I'm remembering like
Hey Dude and stuff like that.
That and I don't know. I'm probably mixing it up with the stuff that was on Disney, but there's a show called All That, and I think that may have been on Nickelodeon, or maybe it was on one of the other kid shows. There was or kid channels, but there were so many kids channels to choose from. So it was all over. They had, I think Fox had a kids channel, or maybe they didn't have a channel. Maybe it's just the Fox network.
Yeah, a little bit later. I feel like the early 90s is when it kind of exploded with like kids content.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nick at Night. I didn't realize it debuted in 85. That's awesome.
I didn't either.
All right. John, do you have any particular thoughts or fandom or anything about John Hughes?
Well, the funny thing about it is that I'm aware of him, but I didn't watch a lot of his movies. That I have been a guest on other podcasts where they talk about John Hughes. And when I talk to people about John Hughes, they have a lot of nostalgia for him and they have a lot of emotion for him. But even though I was aware of these movies, I never actually got around to seeing them. So a lot of these movies I'm seeing for the first time, especially the ones he directed. So the only one that I saw that I know that it's him is Home Alone and the sequel. So I'm very familiar with that, but I watched it. But films like The Breakfast Club and what was that? Is Desperately Seeking Susan one of them?
No, but
something about Pink, right?
Pretty in Pink.
Pretty in Pink.
Yeah. The teen, he was like kind of known as like the teen king.
Right, the teen guy.
Yeah.
Even when I think he did Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. He did that one. And
Uncle
a lot
Buck.
of these movies like I had wanted to see, but I just never got around to seeing them. So I just recognize him as being a very good storyteller and filmmaker for what he does.
So this is interesting that you didn't grow up with them. Which I guess, I don't know where you grew up, but they are there's no people of color in his movies. Like, it's very white. So,
there's that.
There's that. So that's a common criticism.
There were a lot of movies like that when I was growing up. So it's like, it's not, what'd you call it? Not that it's not like overly offensive or anything like that. Like nowadays, something like that would be questioned, but back then it was like, the movie of the day. It's not a surprise. And a lot of times, even when they did include like a person of color, like maybe a Black person or an Asian person or anything like that, a lot of times these roles would be tokenized. So it's almost like it's just better if they're not in there.
Oh, 100%.
Right.
That exact thing happened in 16 Candles. The one Asian character is cartoonish.
Right. They're cartoonish. So sometimes they include, this especially happens with Asian characters. Sometimes they include an Asian character, but it's actually played by a white person in yellowface. And it becomes doubly offensive because then that actor will play all the Asian stereotypes and it would a lot of times be highly offensive and it's a token character. So I wasn't, like, especially during that time, I wasn't overly offended or concerned that, you would have a white director doing a white movie and they don't think to include other people in their movies other than white people. And some of those movies are my favorite movies, so I'm not overly offended. I think the closest that I come to a John Hughes style movie that I watched when that movie came out is a movie called Better Off Dead with John Cusack.
You're right. It is very up the same alley. And John Cusack was in, he was in 16 Candles.
Oh, John Cusack?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
I like him.
Yeah.
Without further ado, let's get into National Lampoon's European Vacation. July 26, 1985. Yes, that's 40 years ago. Now, this one is PG-13, and I'm pretty sure it's the only one of the original 3 or 4 vacation movies that is not R. It's PG-13.
Oh, I didn't realize that. This is actually the only National Lampoon movie I've ever seen.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, as a matter of fact, when it came out, I didn't realize that there was like a National Lampoon. One was a Christmas thing.
Yep. You've not seen Christmas Vacation?
Christmas Vacation. Maybe I did know about it because I'm remembering the poster. Was there another one?
The original one that came out in 1983 is just called Vacation.
Okay, that's
it's
one
like
I didn't
an
know
American.
about.
They like road trip around America.
Right. I didn't know about Vacation. I saw National Lampoon, a European Vacation, and I knew about Christmas Vacation, but I never watched it.
I think you'd like it if you like European Vacation. I think you'd like Christmas.
Yeah, it looks like it might be a lot of fun.
And the first one, you should watch it.
Right,
partially because European Vacation. I'm not saying I feel this way, but critically, review-wise, and partially, I think, because it's PG-13, a lot of people don't think that European Vacation is as good as Christmas or original.
Right.
But I had a lot of fun revisiting it last night. I think I'd seen it, but I haven't seen it a lot. Like, I feel like I've seen it like once before, and then I revisited it last night, and I had a lot of fun watching it. So it's a 6.2 on IMDb. So you've seen this movie before many times, or just like once or twice?
Probably a few times, probably 3 or 4 times, especially when it was on HBO. I would look at the channel guide and I would like, ooh, European Vacation's on. Let me go watch that. Right. So I watched it several times, but I hadn't seen it since back since the 80s. I hadn't seen it.
Okay.
But I always liked that movie. It was a very fun movie for me growing up. And I was kind of worried about it on this rewatch. I just rewatched it a couple hours ago. And I was worried because, like, is there anything in there that could be problematic? Because some of these older movies, some of the sensibilities are definitely different, right? It was like, one of the movies I think about all the time is a movie called Revenge of the Nerds. And
that's one of the worst offenders, I think. Yeah.
Another one that I like is Once Bitten. That's one of Jim Carrey's first movies. And
I don't know if I've seen that.
You would probably like it. I mean, they had some bad jokes about gay people, but but besides that joke, it's a great movie.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm usually pretty good about being able to kind of be in the time and place, but sometimes it's just like you hear things like that you haven't heard in a long time, like the F word, not fuck, but the other F word, and you're like, wow, people used to just throw that word around. Yeah. So now Harold Ramis directed the original 1983 National Lampoon's Vacation. He declined to return as the director for the sequel because he was busy doing Ghostbusters.
That would make sense.
Yeah. So Amy Heckerling was the director here. Do you know her from anything? Does that name ring a bell, Zoe?
That name sounds familiar, but I don't know why.
It's probably because she was also responsible for a lot of comedy favorites like Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Johnny Dangerously, Look Who's Talking, Clueless. That's Amy Heckerling.
Okay. I covered Johnny Dangerously, so that's why the name is familiar.
Yes.
And I've seen Look Who's Talking. That's Johnny Dangerously is so much of one of my favorite movies.
That's Michael Keaton, right?
Yeah, it's Michael Keaton, and I forgot the female lead, but it had a lot of great bits in that movie. It's like one of the best comedies out there. Probably an underrated gem.
I don't think I've seen it.
Oh, you gotta
I know.
watch it.
I feel like I do. I like Michael Keaton a lot. And does he play like a mobster or something?
Yeah, he's got because obviously Dangerously is not his real name. When he's a gangster, he introduces his name as Dangerously, and she says, "Do you know your last name is an adverb?"
That's cute.
I think her name is Mary Lou Henner. I think that was the female lead.
She's not. She was in Taxi.
Yeah, she was in Taxi. Mm-hmm. I'm like 50% sure that's true. that
Let's go with it either way.
And
so, what's interesting is when I was doing the research for European Vacation, I learned some things like I don't even know if I should technically include it, because did you know John Hughes only received nominal credit for writing and the story because they used his characters and some of his ideas from the very first Vacation film in this one, but he was not actually directly involved with European Vacation.
And that happens a lot. Sometimes you got to do a little digging to figure out if they actually did some writing. I come across this a lot of times when the writers are credited. If it's a book adaptation, then the author is always credited. Mm-hmm. Or if it's a original story by like a screenwriter, then he'll often get credits in the sequels because he created the characters or whatnot. So you almost always have to read into it. What is he getting credit for? Is he getting credit because he wrote the story, or is he getting credit because he made the characters? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So Yeah, I run into that a lot. I mean, but
Yeah,
still, they
didn't
they
realize
got the
that.
ball rolling.
They did, I guess. Yeah, so the screenplay was written almost entirely by Robert Klane with some input from the director Amy Heckerling. But Klane was asked to incorporate some unused elements from the original script, the original film's script. And so, therefore, he was credited or awarded a writing credit by WGA. Now, you
Right.
might ask, who's this Robert Klane, eh? Well, he won an Emmy for writing on the TV series Tracy Takes On, which is Tracy Ullman's show. I never saw that. Did you?
I only saw the Tracy Ullman show. I haven't seen her before or since then.
Mm-hmm. He also wrote Weekend at Bernie's and a
I
few
don't know if I've
episodes
ever
of
seen
MASH.
that one, but I know I was around a group of friends that talked about it all the time. It's like
Weekend at
I was
Bernie's is
around
fun.
people that talked about a lot of John Hughes films, and I was just a person that hadn't seen them.
You just nod along. You're like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one, the Griswolds win a vacation tour across Europe where the usual havoc ensues. That's the description if you haven't seen it in 40 years. We, of course, had Chevy Chase and Beverly D'Angelo reprising in their roles as Clark and Ellen Griswold. But Zoe, this is going to be interesting since you have not seen the first one. The kids are different.
Yeah, I heard that it's like the kids are different in every movie.
They are. And it becomes like a bit kind of because so the actress who plays Audrey Griswold in the first movie, her name is also Dana, but Dana Barron. And apparently producer Maddie Simmons already told her that she would be returning to the role. But Anthony Michael Hall, who played Rusty in the first film, could not be in this film because he was doing Weird Science. And so Heckerling requested, instead of just replacing one of them, to replace both kids. So they hired Dana. So poor Dana Barron didn't get to reprise her role, but they cast a different Dana, which is very confusing, Dana Hill. She is mostly a voice actress for cartoons when I looked her up. Did you know her from anything else?
No.
Did you know the kid who played Rusty, Jason Lively?
No, I didn't. It looks like he's still acting, but I didn't do too much research on him.
Yeah, I mean, he did. I thought he looked familiar, but I didn't know him from anything. And he's not done like a ton of stuff. Like he has some credits, a few horror movies that I was unfamiliar with. Night of the Creeps. I haven't seen that. And then
I don't do horror too much.
yeah, same. I couldn't remember if you were, because I have some podcast friends that are super into horror. I couldn't remember if you were one of them or not.
No. Although
not you.
I have a friend who's getting me into horror, so I was convinced to watch Sleepaway Camp the other day, and that is a crazy movie.
It sounds like you don't recommend.
I don't know. It was interesting. It was crazy, and it's interesting because there are a lot of fun things that happen in the movie. And then it had a bizarre resolution because it's more of a suspense thriller than a straight up horror movie. And the other thing is that, you know, the thing that makes it charming is that the acting is really bad. It is definitely a B movie.
Yeah. But I'm curious to see what you think about this because something came to my mind when I was watching the dream sequence because when they're on the plane, all 4 family members have like a dream sequence.
Yeah.
So Jason Lively, his dream sequence, the way his hair is cut combined with this white like jumpsuit thing he has on, is it Luke Skywalker or Han Solo? Which one is not Harrison Ford, the other one?
Oh, that's Mark Hamill.
Yeah. I got vibes like from, I've never seen that movie, but like posters, like because of his hair, the way his hair was. And doesn't he wear white?
Yeah, Luke Skywalker wears white, but not white leather.
All right. So just me. I was like, I got Luke Skywalker vibes.
Yeah. I think Luke Skywalker's, I guess because he's such a different character, I didn't get Luke Skywalker vibes because Luke is a little bit older. Luke was 19 and this guy's like 16.
Mm-hmm.
So
but he had the hair.
No,
don't you think he had the
I didn't get it because everybody had that hairstyle in the 70s and 80s. So
all right. Never mind that.
What happens is that the suit throws you off. Like they both wear white, but Griswold is wearing this white leather. it's almost like a military style suit, a weird double breasted number. And
Okay.
Luke wore, it's more like a robe. It looks like a bathrobe.
Oh,
right?
that's
So
right.
it's a completely different vibe.
All right. Well, what did you think about John Aston playing the pig in a post, which is the game show
Right,
Post?
right. That's delighted. Well, I just recently found out that he is the father of Sean Astin, who is from Lord of the Rings, played Samwise Gamgee. And I was like, I was in shock when I found that out. I only found that out maybe a few months ago. So I was newly living with this knowledge. And then I think when I first saw the movie, I guess I'm not used to actors taking different roles. So when I first saw it, I was like, oh, there's Gomez from the Addams Family.
At first, I got a little nervous there, Zoe. I was like, does he not know that it's Gomez Addams?
Yeah. Although I have to say that he looks really different because he's a little bit older. His hair is much different than when he was Gomez. And then he acts real different. It's like, this is clearly a different person. And he's kind of doing Richard Dawson impression. I'm pretty sure you remember him.
I don't, but the kissing of the women, is that where?
Yeah. Kissing women was Dawson's thing. Like, he hosted Family Feud, and every time he greeted the guests, no matter what these women looked like, he kissed the contestants all of the time. And so
did he kiss them on the mouth?
Yeah, on the mouth. Yeah.
Gross.
But not as what you call it. So what John Astin did, he's like really getting into it. He's like almost like with the mother, he was a little bit more respectful, but still way more into it than you should be as a host of a game show, kissing a stranger. And then when he went over to the daughter, he obviously went overboard. So just
he was like making out with her, and she's all of 14,
making out with the daughter.
Right? She's
so
like
I was
14.
like, oh, this guy is a criminal. This dude belongs in jail.
And Clark's just like looking over. What's
especially when you look at what's going on in today's news, or if you'll hear about people who are in children's shows, and you hear about the bad behavior that they were involved in, or you find out that one of your favorite authors is a monster. So I feel like John Astin is playing those guys.
Yeah, for sure. The pig in a post, that was funny. They had to wear pig costumes. I guess while we're on the topic, I sort of got the vibe that they were combining elements of a number of different game shows. There were elements of Jeopardy. There were elements of, Family Feud. Let's make a deal because of the costumes.
Right.
And even a little Price is Right. So I thought that was really fun. Just like, it was like, let's throw in elements from all these like old timey game shows. I liked it.
Well, at the time, they weren't old timey; they were current.
True. That's a good point.
So what happened is that they combined elements of different game shows because these were elements that people were familiar with. So I think the main element they used was Family Feud. And so I got the Family Feud and what do you call it? The Price is Right, and
the way the questions were asked.
Say again?
The way the questions were asked was sort of Jeopardy-esque, though, right? You pick a category.
No, not really, because you didn't have to answer in the form of a question. They were Jeopardy-esque in a way that's how advanced they were, right? Because, actually, I'm going to take that back. You're right. They were just Jeopardy-esque, because like they were Jeopardy questions on a Family Feud style game show.
Yeah.
Because the Jeopardy questions were, because they were advanced. Like the only difference is that you didn't have to answer in the form of a question.
Right.
But they were asking questions like about brain surgery. They were asking about Lewis and Clark. What was intriguing about the game show segment is that none of the women were listening to their husbands. No, I'm sorry, I got that wrong. None of the husbands were listening to their wives. So for the Griswolds, they were like, the whole family was like, we don't want to be greedy. We don't want to be greedy. Don't do it. Don't do it. And he says, I want to be a pig. I want to be a pig. I want to go for it. So that was Griswold's. And then the other family, the wife kept wanting to ask about, I forgot, this one particular subject. And
it was like cabinet making, Hungarian cabinet making or something.
Because apparently she knows all about it, but he chose every other subject but what she wanted. And it's funny how like you just got men who are totally ignoring their wives. And the other thing is that, so how the Griswolds accidentally got the answer right. because the wife yells out, Clark. And Aston goes, yeah, Lewis and Clark, you did it. Clark from Lewis and Clark, you did it. You answered the question. And the other family was so mad. He was like
that they didn't mean it. That was an accident. They're like, well, they're going to
know it.
Europe
She
and blah,
didn't
blah.
know.
That was a funny touch. I agree.
Yeah, that was great. I love that part. I don't
Closing
even
out-
remember that part.
Closing out John Aston, did you know that he is not only still alive, but still working at the age of 95?
I did not know that. I did not
wild.
know that. I thought he surely had kicked the bucket by now. What is he
I know.
on?
I had to look it up, and he has 2 like upcoming projects.
Oh
that
my
have,
goodness.
Like, they're in. I guess it said they were in post-production, but he's 95 and he has 2 projects coming out.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. There's only a few other people that I wanted to point out, one of which is Audrey's boyfriend.
Okay,
Jack.
I know that guy.
Yeah. Who's Jack, Zoe? What's he known from?
He's from The Karate Kid.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he's from Cobra Kai, obviously. But
William
I didn't realize
Zabka.
that he's been in other movies. Like the only movie I saw him in is The Karate Kid, but apparently he's been in at least a few other movies in that time period.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But he is most known for playing Johnny in Karate Kid and Cobra Kai. Yeah. William Zabka. And then I didn't recognize this guy, but the gag that when they're in England, they keep running into people like in cars, and then they run into
that one guy that they clipped up when he was on a bicycle.
a bicycle guy. And he's like in a cast later. They totally ruin his bicycle and completely injure this guy. And that's part of I don't know if it's supposed to be making fun of the trope that the English people are just like so polite that they don't.
That has to be it. That has to, because he runs into 2 cars. Like first he runs into one car, then he runs, and because he can't get used to driving on the correct side of the street.
He can't drive in England.
And then that British person is overly polite, and then he runs into somebody else like right after, and that person is overly polite. The second person gave them the bumper sticker. No, the bumper from his car to take home as a souvenir.
Like as a souvenir. That's right. I forgot about that.
And then the third person and then he clipped a person on a bicycle, which is the most horrible thing that you could do is hit somebody on a bike or a pedestrian who's walking. And
he's like legitimately injured, this person. Yeah. And his bike is completely destroyed.
The person, the dude, they ask him for directions. He tries to give them the directions. All of a sudden blood starts squirting out of his arm.
But that guy, the bicycle rider, he doesn't have a name in this, but he, for whatever reason, the Griswolds run into him throughout their vacation and they keep injuring him further. Like he was in a cast in a revolving door and Clark gets him stuck in there. He's like, oh, how's the holiday?
Right.
Stuff like that. So this person's name is Eric Idle. Because people are probably going to scream at me. I feel like I've seen bits and pieces of Monty Python movies, but I'm not familiar. He's a member of the British comedy group, Monty Python. Did you know that?
That would make sense. That would make sense of why he was featured throughout the movie. Because when I was watching, when they ran into him the second time, I thought, oh, this guy must be important because they keep featuring him. But I didn't know who he was either. I'm like you. I've only seen bits and pieces of Monty Python. I never watched. I don't know if I ever watched an entire show from beginning to end. I was just kind of sort of familiar with it. I'm more of a Benny Hills guy.
I haven't seen Benny Hill either. I'm the worst.
Don't worry about it. It'd be something that is, if you want to watch Benny Hill, you have to watch public television where they would play some British shows. So I watched Benny Hill, I watched Doctor Who, and maybe there were a couple of other shows that I seen. And then Benny Hill would come on so late at night that I couldn't catch like every episode. But it was one of the things that I liked growing up.
I like British TV. I guess I didn't when I was younger because it's definitely drier than my child brain could handle, probably. The last cast member I wanted to note is the girl who plays Rusty's girlfriend. I think they're in Italy, but she's from California. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Oh, okay. Yeah, they were in Italy. I don't know I know who you're talking about, but I don't know that woman.
Her name is Moon Unit Zappa. It's
Oh
Frank
my
Zappa's
God.
daughter.
Okay, I know the name. It's
Mhm.
Frank Zappa's daughter.
Yeah. I saw her when I was in DC, actually, Zoe. I don't know, a long time ago, more than 10
Right.
years ago. I was there for a Pitbull awareness fundraiser, and she was like the MC of it. Anyway, yeah.
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, I've known the name, but I never knew the person.
Yeah. I think she's most famous. Like, she's an actress and stuff, and she's been in things. I think she maybe is friends with the director because I think she's in some other Amy Heckerling stuff. But yeah, I just know her as Frank Zappa's daughter. Oh, Lindsay Buckingham's Holiday Road. That's what I wanted to particularly tell you, Zoe, because that Holiday Road song that's like at the beginning, that is Lindsay Buckingham's song from Fleetwood Mac.
Okay. I'm
Yeah.
not that familiar with Fleetwood Mac.
Well, that's who he is. But Holiday
Okay.
Road was
Right.
in the first one, so they continued that here. The rest of the music was done by Charles Fox. He composed theme songs for The Love Boat and the theme music to ABC's Wild World of Sports and the original Monday Night Football, as well as the Grammy-winning hit song Killing Me Softly with his song.
Oh, yeah.
Written in collaboration with Lori Lieberman and Charles Fox's longtime writing partner, Norman Gimbel.
Right.
Yeah. Other movies he scored, Barbarella from 1968 and 9 to 5, classic 80s movie.
Yeah.
Actually, I think that was
yeah.
1980, maybe.
He
Yeah,
definitely wrote some bangers.
Charles Fox. Yeah, I've never even heard of him, but yeah, he did. So despite Jason Lively not really having a huge career, he was actually nominated for a Young Artist Award for this movie. We have a $17 million budget, and it grossed over $49 million. So it definitely was a box office success, despite it only getting kind of so-so critics' reviews.
I think that a lot of these middle of the road movies they tend to be successful. And having like a 6.5, that's not necessarily bad.
Oh. I would say a 6 or above is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of movies that are rated as 6 on IMDb that, a lot of those are my favorite movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember covering Weird Science, and it is not known to be one of John Hughes' ultimates, but it's one of my favorites. So it really bugs me that it doesn't have a higher rating. I'm like, what's everybody thinking? It's awesome. Anyway.
Yeah, I love that movie. Oh, yeah, that's another movie that I saw that I grew up with that I watched was that one, along with the other movie we talked about, the Christmas movie. So yeah, I loved Weird Science. I don't think of it as a John Hughes movie, let's put it that way. And the only reason he made it was so that he could make his next movie, because he didn't like that movie either.
Yeah, because it came out after The Breakfast Club, but he wrote The Breakfast Club first.
He wanted to make The Breakfast Club, but he basically had to prove himself. So like you do Weird Science and we'll give you The Breakfast Club. So that's basically how that worked out. And yeah, I loved Weird Science. It was pretty cool.
I'm glad you liked it. Did you like the opening sequence, the credit sequence with the passport stamp on European Vacation?
Yes, that was very noticeable. Because they don't really do opening credits like that anymore. A lot of times what they'll do is they'll save it for the ending credits. So the ending credits are usually really fancy because they really want to get the story started. So in most modern movies now, to bring you into the movie, they'll just a couple of credits, the star, the director, the producer, and then you're in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on, when you get to the ending credits, they're fancy. But in this movie, or even like a lot of the movies in the 80s, when they wanted to do something fancy, they would do it in the opening credits. And it was super impressive. I really liked it. It was so creative.
I thought so too. And you bring up a good point. They don't do that very much anymore. And this movie kind of it was bookended by two awesome things, because I really liked the closing credits too, which was like, if you remember, the song was Back in America, like they come home now, back in America. And then we just see like still photos of like American landmarks and like typical scenes and events. Like baseball, hot dog stands, Mount Rushmore, bumper to bumper traffic, the Alamo, the Hollywood sign, Times Square, breakdancing, Crowded Beach, Hulk Hogan, like Americana,
Right.
I don't know. So this movie, we got bookends, which I quite enjoyed.
Well, I admit I didn't actually stay for the ending credits. So what happened was, you know how like when you're watching it on streaming, it'll zoom out and then you see the next thing
You
that's
have to
going
go
play.
back up to
Right,
to
right,
watch
right.
the credits. Yeah,
Right,
I
right.
kind of am annoyed by that. Okay, well, I've been conditioned to stay until the very last minute because John Hughes a lot of times has post-credit scenes, like in Ferris Bueller.
I've been conditioned by superhero movies.
So now John Hughes tends to do that too. Okay, I feel like there are a few things I'm going to say for your benefit, and this is one of them. You're going to feel cheated, I have a feeling, as a man, because in the first vacation movie, it is rated R, we get a shower scene of Beverly D'Angelo, just like this movie also has another Beverly D'Angelo shower scene, but there were boobs in the first one. She showed her boobs. This one, she doesn't. Do you feel cheated?
No, I can always go back and watch. That's another interesting thing is that the studios really felt that they need to get audiences into the theater. So back then it was the boobs. They were like, we got to have a boob shot. And there was a lot of, I almost felt unnecessary nudity.
Yeah.
Even in this one where you had a girl took her top off.
The German girl,
the nude scene in this movie. Yeah, the German girl. And it worked because I think I remember I would wait for the scene. Like I watched the whole movie, but this is the scene that I'm looking forward to. When I was watching it, when I was 16 or 17.
Yes, of course. Because she was playing like a 16-year-old too. Like she was probably in her 20s.
Watching it now, I could tell it was an adult. But like when I was growing up, it looked like it could be a kid. Mm-hmm. But they had to use an adult, so.
PG-13. So also, I guess the first one has a ton of F words. Clark gets really pissy about something and he's like, fuckity, fuck, And then Beverly D'Angelo twice has a topless scene in the first one. But this one, she's in a towel and she does a little burlesque show for Clark, like reminiscent of something she did in college as he's videotaping her. And so that's what we get this time. But you know what I noticed while she was doing her burlesque show? Because they're in their bathroom, their very 1980s bathroom.
Right.
You know what I noticed?
Pink toilet paper?
Yes! How did you know?
Because I noticed it too.
Do you remember? I had completely forgot about the time when you could buy pink, blue, green, and maybe even yellow, like toilet paper and Kleenex.
Right. Yeah, I looked at that. I was like, oh, they don't do that anymore.
No, they don't. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, they used to do, I don't think they even do designs anymore. They used to do either designs, like color designs on the toilet paper, or they would be weird colors. But there are some people that's like allergic to that. At least they're sensitive to that.
Well, yeah, there's dye in it, I would imagine.
Right, they're sensitive. Yeah, they're sensitive to that dye. So maybe the toilet paper companies got too many complaints and stopped making them. But yeah, I when I saw that was definitely an eye-opening thing that happened in that scene.
Oddly enough, that's what I noticed in that scene. And she's being very wasteful with the toilet paper,
Yeah. That's part of her act, though. She had to incorporate it.
It was. I had a question for you. When they're on the plane going to Europe, Rusty is shown wearing what I thought looked like a stethoscope. What was that?
Those weren't his headphones?
At first, that's what I thought they were too, but he takes the stethoscope thing off and puts on his Walkman headphones at some point.
They might be the plane's version of headphones or listening apparatus. That's what I'm thinking, because the plane still had, I think they had radio stations or something on the plane. Woodley wasn't paying that much attention to, so I don't remember saying that, but that's the only thing I could think of that it could be, is that he was probably listening to something that they was playing through the plane's audio system.
I didn't fly until the 90s. So I was never on a plane in the 80s. And I literally thought it was like a stethoscope is what it looked like. So listeners, let me know what the heck that thing was.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking, because you couldn't bring your own headphones and plug it into the plane jack. The plane had it's a proprietary connection, so you had to use the plane's headphones in order to listen to anything that's coming in through the plane's entertainment system. But
That would
then
make
he
sense.
used his own headphones to listen to his own music, and
Mhm.
so that's why he took the stethoscope thing off and put his own headphones in so he could listen to his Walkman or whatever it was.
Mhm.
And the other thing is that
Definitely Walkman.
I don't know if, I remember now. Like nowadays, he may have been looking at a movie, because nowadays each passenger have their own screen. So there's
Yeah.
a screen in the back of the seat.
Oh,
so
there
you
used to
can
be one
watch
at
your
the
own
front of the
movie.
thing.
In the old days, everybody watched the same movie. And so the movie was playing at the front of the plane.
That's right.
So he may have been watching a movie.
You're right. I bet you're right. Yeah, there was like a screen at the front of I don't know, in front of the
cabin.
bathrooms or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, you're probably right. I very much took note of Audrey's dream sequence in particular, because her boyfriend says, what a lovely boyfriend. He says before they leave, because she says, "Oh, I don't want to go to Europe. All they have is fattening food there." And her boyfriend's like, "Yeah, Audrey eats too much and I like her thin."
Yeah.
So her dream is about excessively, like insanely eating all this food and like blowing up, like getting
Right.
fat.
I mean, not just that, but she's being served by these proper British wait staff, and they keep bringing her plate, and she doesn't even finish the plate. She eats as much as she can, then they'll take that plate away, and then they'll bring in another plate, and she'll eat as much as she can, and then they'll take that plate away, and it's like she's just compulsively eating.
Yes.
And then she starts to expand and expand. And it's like, even as her body is expanding before her, she continues to stuff her face. And that's a fear that she has.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think some of that is, has something to do with the comments that her boyfriend makes. And she's obsessed over her boyfriend. But at the same time, she is self-conscious about eating and her body type. And so that is a fear that she can't stop eating. And so that I feel like that dream is apropos.
I feel like I would have that dream. I like food so much. She is obsessed with her boyfriend, because we see the second they arrive in their London hotel room, she puts up like a poster-sized picture and all these photos of this boyfriend. Like, where do you get a poster-sized photo of your boyfriend?
Yeah, she had so many pictures of her boyfriend. That's crazy.
Also, when they first arrive in London, they're getting out of the cab and they're unaware of their surroundings, and they're getting their luggage and stuff out. And they had long, like, poles of something that they were knocking people over with.
Right.
What was that?
I couldn't tell you. I wouldn't know. It's like, what in the heck are they taking with them when it's
and
vacation?
A guitar. Who brings a guitar on their vacation?
Did they have a guitar?
Yes, there was a guitar.
Oh,
I'm like, what are you doing?
Because they did have a bunch of suitcases. That I didn't notice the shape of the cases all that much. The thing that I paid attention to was that they're trying to get out of the cab, and this dude is trying to help them, but he's getting whacked by all the members of the family, particularly the father. He's just whacking this dude with all of these suitcases.
So their accommodations are a little less than what they thought they were going to be, to say the least. And I was curious if you've ever stayed in a hotel where you had to share a bathroom with other guests.
No, thankfully not. I feel like that's more of a hostel than a hotel.
I would die.
That's definitely not fair, because in a hostel, you're actually sharing an entire room with a bunch of other people. So it's not fair, but it's too hostile-ish if I got to share a bathroom with everybody on that floor. And then they didn't lock the door. That was the shocking part. I mean, I can see them sharing the bathroom with everybody on the floor, but why would you have a tub where it takes time to wash yourself in a tub, right? Instead of just a shower. You would think that if you had a bathroom that you had to share with the whole floor, you would have a shower instead of a tub. And then you would have at least a couple of showers, not just that one little bathroom, but I guess That's how they make them over there. And then they didn't.
That's how hotels are there.
Yeah.
No,
and
yeah,
then-
I don't know how
then
many
they
rooms.
didn't-
It was like that floor or something.
And then she didn't lock the door. So that was, you kind of asking to be disturbed if you don't lock the door.
They both, and apparently the room doors apparently didn't have numbers on them. So both spouses mistakenly get involved with someone else, which is, made to play for hilarity. You see it coming.
Right.
I couldn't get over what kind of a sociopath Ellen is for taking a bubble bath in a public bathroom.
Yeah.
A shared, what are you doing, Ellen? How could you possibly relax, let alone, this is not a nice hotel, clearly. Like it can't, no.
I wouldn't say that she's a sociopath. I would say that she's clueless. Like she's kind of clueless, right? So she's not
She's
really
a monster, Zoe. Who does that?
She's ditzy about it.
God.
What was funnier was when Clark had went into the wrong room, and it's weird that he would go into the room and think that the woman in the room is his wife when he just left her in the bathroom.
Good point. He knows she's in the bathtub.
Weird.
That's right.
Like, how did you miss your wife? It was like, I can see it taking you a long time to find your room, but I can't see you missing your wife coming out of the bathroom and walking down the hallway to get into the room. But somehow he does that. He goes
for the movie's sake.
Yeah,
it has to be a mistake.
You know what's funny is I almost thought that when he got into the bed that it was a man.
Me too.
I thought that was going to be the reveal.
Me too.
That would have been funny, but as it turned out, it was a woman, and she didn't want to let him go, and that was funny.
Yeah, did she even start like touching him down there? Because he was like, "No, stop! I don't like."
She locked his legs with her legs, because he's like, "Could you unlock your legs from mine?" And she's
but
like,
even
"No."
before then, I feel like he was like, "No, that's not necessary." So I was like, "What's she doing?"
Yeah,
she was into it.
Started grabbing him, and he's like, "Could you go? No." That was funny. That was a laugh out loud moment.
That's the kind of movie, this slapstick and screwball nature of it, which I'm not usually into, but I just let myself go for these kind of movies, and I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
Like them getting stuck in the roundabout. And I didn't see coming that, you see them keep going around. Oh, there's Big Ben. Oh, there's Big Ben.
Yeah.
But then it gets dark.
Yeah.
They're literally in there for hours.
Right. They were there in that traffic circle all day. It's one of my favorite parts. It's the part that I most remember about this movie. When I think about this movie, I think about that part because especially now that they've started installing traffic circles in America, I say start installing like they haven't been working on it for the past 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
But
they're more common now here.
Yeah, they're way more common now. But man, dude, that's my fear of getting stuck in a circle.
There's one not far from my house that I still don't like because it's a double circle. It's like an 8. And I'm like, I don't know how to get to...
Well,
I don't like it.
To tell you the truth, in Washington, D.C., they've had traffic circles since the beginning of the city. So, I've actually been dealing with traffic circles my entire life. But the difference is that in D.C., it's like they're super complicated. Like some of the traffic circles got double lanes. There are stoplights within the traffic circle.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of times there's a stoplight just to get into the circle. So they're weird and complex. It's not like the purpose of like most European traffic circles is that there is no light, that you merge into the traffic circle and then you go around to the street that you need and you merge out. But so it's weird to have traffic lights in a traffic circle, but that's how they do it in DC.
Nobody would let Clark merge. He couldn't figure out how to get.
Nobody would let him merge.
Yeah. I did see the Stonehenge thing coming though, because at first I was like, wow, they're parked immediately next to Stonehenge.
Right.
And then we've seen Clark be a terrible driver throughout their London vacay. And then, Stonehenge topples like dominoes.
Somebody thought it was funny. I think that the thing that makes it funny is when he says, yep, it's been here for 2,000 years and we were here to see it. We were here to experience and it'll be here for the next generation. And then he backs into it and then drives off completely oblivious that he's knocked over Stonehenge. But not that I believe that a car, like a 2,000-pound car, could knock over like a 4,000-pound stone. I don't know how heavy those stones were, but I don't think that car had enough momentum or weight to be able to knock over all of Stonehenge. It takes a certain amount of suspension of disbelief to laugh at that.
Well, I mean, 100%, because only so much of it is protruding from the ground. It wouldn't actually topple anyway, but it's National Lampoons.
Right.
So that was London. Paris. Did you enjoy the French tropes?
The funny thing is how rude that the natives were to their visitors, and how they were cursing at the Griswolds in French. So that was funny.
Really uppity, the waiter, and then the microwave food.
Oh yeah. They were just, the food wasn't as fancy as they were led to believe, but everything was like fancier. Like when they got to France, they had a fancier hotel, a proper hotel, I would call it.
Yes.
And was it France where they stole their video camera got stolen?
Yes. Yeah. Again, it's all these tropes. Like French people are rude. They're uppity. Steal your shit.
He's carrying this gigantic camera. And I was like, oh my God, that's how we used to roll back then.
Camcorders were huge.
Yeah. And he's like, by the time that I got around to, if I wanted to get a camcorder, they were much smaller, like before cell phones. But
just like a
still
hand,
using,
like the size of your hand.
Yeah.
Kinda?
You still use like a physical recording medium to record on, because they had smaller tapes. And I think what he was used full size VHS tapes or something like that.
Oh yeah,
but
you have to rest it on your shoulder.
Yeah. So he had something that was absolutely gigantic. It was weird to how he was using it, because he was kind of using it as a camera. Like he just wanted to get the family together just to pose for a motion picture. So that was weird.
It was weird. And then we see it coming because the guy is like, oh yeah, get in the fountain, take your shoes off, get in the fountain. We're like, uh-oh.
Yeah, that's a crazy thing to ask somebody to do. Because I would have been like, no, I'm not. No, I don't want to be adventurous. No, I vote nay.
Give me my camera back. Now, have you been to Paris?
No, I haven't been to anywhere in Europe. I stopped on my way to being deployed to Iraq, and actually it was Kuwait and then Iraq. We stopped at, I want to say Dublin
nice.
Island. Yeah. But we only got to see the airport.
Oh, yeah. No, that kind of sucks. But thank you for your service.
Yeah, thanks. It was like a 20-minute stopover. So I didn't get to see France or Germany or any of the more interesting countries.
I have actually been to all of these places except Germany, but it was a very long time ago. The reason I asked is because, well, a couple things. Nothing is crowded. They're just able to pull up to Stonehenge. There's no crowds around. They're about to go to the Louvre, which is like this ginormous museum. And they're like, oh, it closes in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
What are you going to see? The gift shop,
It's a horrible way to try to visit a museum.
And then when they're on the Eiffel Tower, this is another thing that I'm going to have to clue you in on, because you need this information from the first movie. They're on top of the Eiffel Tower, and there's like hardly any people there, which is also, that's not a thing. And there's these group of people. So Rusty's always trying to get a girl everywhere he goes.
Yeah.
He sees this group of women, and I don't know if it was like a couple sisters and their mom, and the mom is holding a dachshund, right? And we're sort of like worried. We're like, oh, I don't know. You're holding this dog like right by the railing to, on the top of the Eiffel Tower. And the reason we're nervous is because in the first movie, a dog dies because Clark ties it to the back of the car while they're like packing things up, forgets that he tied the dog back there, and they start driving. And this dog is dragged to death.
Oh, God.
Morbid and dark, right?
Yeah.
So a dog dies in the first movie. So we're set up here for, oh shit, what's going to happen to this dachshund? And then we even see Clark and Rusty go over to them, and they're wearing these berets that are dumb.
Yeah.
And we're like, uh-oh, something's going to happen. Something's going to happen. They're going to knock into this lady. Or that's kind of what I'm thinking. Somehow this dog is going to be pushed over. No. Clark is like, screw the beret, throws it over, and the dog thinks it's a Frisbee, jumps after it. And we're like, oh no, the dog's going to die. But we are saved in this PG-13 movie. The dog lands in like a lake or a pond or whatever. And the dog is fine, thank God.
I don't remember there being a waterway near the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, a good point.
I've never been
either.
there.
But, maybe.
But they didn't want to kill another dog.
They didn't. Yes, we were saved. I wonder if that was feedback from the first movie that people were like, don't kill dogs.
Right. Yeah, that was. Well, actually, the funny thing about the berets is like Clark got berets for all of his family, and he decided to use the power of the vote to make sure that everybody wore a beret, and they had berets with their names on it. And yes, they did look silly, but I don't think they wore them wrong, at least for civilians. But it kind of reminded me of when I was serving for a few years. They had everybody in the Army wear a beret. They decided that would be part of your regular uniform.
Ooh, it's cool looking. I love the military berets.
Yeah, and I like the way that it's worn. And it's the funny thing is that it used to be just the special forces or the special units that wore a beret. But then somebody was like, I want everybody to wear a beret, so everybody had to do it. And while they look neat, they were painted because you had to shape them in a very particular way. And that involved a lot of work to get it to look just right. So you had to shape them a particular way, and they were hot. And they were hot and itchy.
Oh,
so
and they're worn kind
of
lower and to the side or something, the military style?
Yeah. And that shape is not natural to the beret. You have to force it to do that. And it takes a lot of water and drying, and it is a whole process.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Well, it is a hot look, I will say. Movies with, because I know nothing about the military, but like I'm picturing like Jean-Claude Van Damme in a movie.
Yeah.
With a beret on. Anyway. Yeah.
Well, what you notice is that the military berets in a lot of movies, they're not well shaped.
You're right.
They're just, sometimes they're just kind of thrown on top of somebody's head, and sometimes it's like they make an effort to shape it, but it's not shaped like sharply.
It's not proper.
They could have did a better job.
and only somebody in the military would know that.
Yeah.
Probably.
I'm cursed with the knowledge.
I like it. That's good knowledge, though. So yeah, I think it's here in Paris too that Audrey's shitty boyfriend dumps her, which she's better off without Zapka, whatever his name is. But they have a super sweet car in Paris. That orange car. Do you know what that was? I'm not a car person. That's an awesome car.
No, I'm not familiar with European cars.
All right, anybody, tell me, what's the orange car that they drive? It's like a hot car. It doesn't really look like a family car, but I really liked it. And then they take that. They drive to Germany next, and they're going to meet relatives that they've never met, I guess, before. And more mistaken identity happens here. I just cannot imagine. Like the Griswolds don't know because they don't speak German. They go to the wrong house. But the German people are just like, yeah, cool. And so we see them at dinner, and I'm like, wow, they're having like dinner with them and everything. And then we see them, they spend the night with the wrong people.
The entire time. It's weird that they've never exchanged photographs, that they've never mailed, pictures of themselves. And they're so happy and boisterous. It's almost like they love bomb the German family. So it's almost like they have no choice but to be good hosts to these strangers.
Good point. Yeah, they do. You're right. They give them no choice. Yeah, it seems like that. Yeah. But then later they're like, who the hell was that?
Yeah.
Like you let these people spend the night in your home. Wow.
And they're none the wiser. They thought they just had this fantastic experience.
Yeah, they'll go home and write letters, like thanking them, sending them a card, like thanking them for the visit. And then
right.
What? Yeah. We should get that sequel.
They're just going to be telling all their friends, one time these Americans came and they barged into our home and they were so nice and friendly, and we let them sleep in a couple of our spare bedrooms. and then they left, and they were good people, but we have no idea who they were.
When they go to Italy, they just happen to jump their car in Germany gets stuck in like an old-timey passageway, like that's like stone. And
Yeah,
they
it's like an arch in the
yeah,
street.
but
And I remember that part. It's like, Dad, we're gonna get stuck. It's like, I know this car, and, it does indeed get stuck.
they have to leave
And they
their
have
luggage
to,
behind. And it just so happens though that there's a train station right there that they run to, and they just so happen to jump as they're being chased because like they're at this German festival, and somehow again accidentally Clark starts a brawl, and so now he's being chased through the town, and they jump just in time onto this train on their way to Italy, and it happens to be the right train to the right
yeah,
place, and now we're in Rome, wouldn't you know it.
right. Yeah, a lot of fortunate coincidences, but it works. It's so funny. That the weird thing is that the reason they're being chased is because they were in a dance, like a dance show, and the performers just asked random people to join the little dance thing.
Yeah, it's
And it's
like
like,
a
don't worry if you don't know how to dance. You just follow us along. And it's like, obviously, Griswold is going to go up, and he went and bought the weird German outfits that they were wearing. I guess you would call them like traditional, or more. What's the word I'm looking for? They were
like the folksy.
stereotypical German outfits.
Mhm.
So he gets this get up, and he's enjoying the show. And then these performers on the shows join us. And so they pull him up to join him in the dance. And then while they're dancing, they're bumping into each other because he doesn't know what the dance moves are.
Mhm.
And he's accidentally hitting them. And then they're hitting him back. And the next thing you know, it turns into a full on brawl. And so now they got to run away from these German guys, the performers, because everybody starts fighting at this party. So they get chased, and that's when they get stuck, and that's when they fortuitously end up in the train
Ooh,
that
good
takes them
word,
where they
fortuitous.
needed to go.
This is true. Also, when I was watching it, I was like, "Oh, that looks like a fun time though, that German festival," because I love bread. There were those big soft
Yeah,
pretzels and so many humongous steins of beer. I'm like, "That looks like a good time." They end up in Rome, and
yeah,
I don't know why I was not able to follow the scheme of the thieves because oh, PS. Because they lost their luggage, they don't have any money. So when they get to Rome, they're like, "Oh, that's okay. We'll go to the cashier's check place and get more." I don't know, cashier's check as a thing. I personally have never used cashier's checks, I don't think. Like it's so old
yeah.
of a
That
thing.
what's funny is that when I first joined the military, that's how they used to pay us. Well, they didn't pay us in cashier's check, but they paid us in such a way that we would exchange our money for cashier's check, because at the time that was the best way to use our money. And it's not like we were overseas or anything. That was just the process. And so I used a lot of, and this was only in basic training, but I used a lot of cashier's check in basic training.
I don't really understand. It's supposed to be more secure, but how? Like, how is that better
Because
than?
theoretically speaking, if somebody were to steal your cashier's check, you still have something like the receipts. That's why he said they were mentioning the stubs. So you have the receipts for the checks. And they're just like
Oh,
regular checks where you have to sign them in
mhm.
order to pay for stuff. So you have when you tear off the check, you still have the stub of the check. So you can take that and say that, these were stolen from us, and we're just trying to get reimbursed for the checks that were stolen. And the stubs were proof that you had purchased the check. And that's why they were supposed to be secure, because
Mhm.
you could prove that you bought the cashier's check, and you can get reimbursed for the money that was lost.
Couldn't I just write a cashier's check, not write in the stub and just show them blank stubs?
I don't know exactly how it works,
I know.
since I
I
never
don't
had to
get this
do it.
this as a
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that there was a way that they could tell if
Mhm.
the stub was spent or not. I don't know the mechanics of it, but that's the theory,
Yeah.
is that you had proof that you bought the cashier's check, And if they're stolen, you can get reimbursed. I remember that all commercials, we were going over the commercials early in the show. So we were talking about, so one of them was, there
American
used to be
Express.
commercials for cashier's check, and they were highly recommended for when you were traveling abroad.
Yeah. I remember
Yeah.
that. I mean,
Yeah.
I remember my parents using them, and I used to work at a bank, and I still remember being confused. Like in college, I worked at a bank, and every once in a blue moon, someone would come in and be like, I need some cashier's checks. And I'm like, what? Why? But anyway.
Usually it meant that they were going somewhere. They were going on a trip.
Speaking of Europe, I'm going to Greece pretty soon.
Wow.
So I had to go to a bank I never go to a bank, but I ordered euros. So I had to go pick them up. Instead of cashier's checks, I just got some cash.
You just got regular cash.
Cash
and
my credit card.
And they make it easier because you don't have to figure out a bunch of different currencies. There's one currency that you have to worry about, unless you're going to England, then you have to worry about their currency. But it's an incredible benefit that Europe decided to.
The euros. Yeah, I agree.
Go to one currency. That's amazing. That's the biggest achievement in 1,000 years.
Maybe. Yeah. Because can you imagine like going from state to state in the US and having a different currency?
Yeah. And it used to be that way.
In the States?
Yes.
What?
And in the earlier, probably when they were colonies, and then in the earlier parts, after it changed from being colonies to the United States, every state had their own, or every territory had their own currency. And I don't know how the exchange rates work.
Oh, wow. Well, that does make sense. I don't know why I didn't know that. Thanks, Mr. History Buff.
But soon after the country was formed, I think, I don't know when exactly it happened, but they changed to a national currency.
Okay, well, so Katie's dumb and she doesn't know the deal with cashier's checks, but also the robbers at this cashier's check place, they stow away the manager in the car that they give to the Griswolds, right?
Yes.
In the trunk. They put the manager in the trunk, and the Griswolds are none the wiser. They go about their Italian vacation. And then later, the thief comes back, and he's trying to get Ellen's purse away from her to get the key again.
Right, to get the car with the
Why?
bank manager. And I don't even know.
Like, why? I was very confused by that. I think I'm missing something. Like, why would you give them a car with him in it if you wanted the car with him in it? Or if you wanted that guy?
If you wanted to get rid of him, or if you wanted to, because that's basically what you're trying to do. You're trying to because they didn't want to kill the dude. So the next best thing to do is to get rid of him so that they can keep the money. So I'm not exactly sure why. There must have been another reason why they needed him, but I thought they got their money. So why would they need him? So I'm just as confused as you
I was
are.
like, I don't understand why he comes back to try and get the car back. I don't know. I was very confused by that. So then he kidnaps Ellen, right?
Yeah. Well, see, she goes willingly, and then later on he kidnaps her, and then her husband has to come and rescue her, and eventually the rest of the family joins them in order to rescue her from this dude, because when he pulls out the gun, then it's kidnapping.
Yes. Up until that, it's just fun and games.
Right.
But that was kind of there's always a little bit of heartfelt family-ness to these movies, and that's kind of it. Because Clark and Ellen had just gotten in an argument over her nude scene being on the videotape that Clark promised her that he deleted that.
Not just nudity, but apparently some hanky-panky, as they used to say.
Yeah, hanky-panky. Oh my God, I haven't heard that in so long.
Yeah, because some dude got a hold of that video and made an entire film of it.
Well, the guy in France stole the video camera. That footage was on there. He told her that he had deleted it, but he didn't. And then he's like, shit, that got stolen. She ends up on a billboard for porn or something.
Yes, definitely. Because it was a movie poster. It was a movie poster for a porn. And I forgot the name of the movie. Something about wet wife in bathroom or something like that.
Was that what it was?
The name of the movie. So, yeah, they made a whole production out of her little burlesque act. And then the act of making love with her husband. So all of that was caught on video.
Mm-hmm. It was. That's very typical of this kind of a movie. So then they, they're all happy now. Everybody's together. They saved the day. They go back home on the plane. And they were in first class, weren't they? On the way home somehow?
I don't know if they were in first class. They were really close to where the pilots stay, right?
Which would mean, and it was only like 2 seats. Or I don't know. It seemed like it was first class.
Right.
I could be wrong. But yes, the last gag is Clark is looking for the bathroom and he busts the door open and it's actually the cockpit. And as they're descending into New York City, they clip the Statue of Liberty. That's like the last, mayhem that the Griswolds do. And now they're back home.
Yeah. The last bit is hitting the Statue of Liberty. Mm-hmm. So not necessarily one of the funniest parts of the movie, but it's like they needed to figure out how to end it. So that's what they decided on.
Good point. They were like, what's one last gag we could do? Did you know that, so Griswold in all of these, like the Griswolds, the original Griswolds is spelled Griswold. But in this movie, we see on the game show, we see it with an A.
Oh,
so it's spelled differently in this movie than in the rest of the series. A versus O.
Well, I'm probably one of the worst spellers out there working today. So I couldn't recognize words that are spelled correctly and incorrectly, or words with alternate spelling. I get it all wrong most of the time. So
this is one of my biggest pet peeves in movies is, seriously, you can't get your own character's name spelled right. Like this is the sequel to a very famous movie and you're spelling the name wrong. That was probably just an oversight on the game show. Like you see like on the Family Feud, is their last name, the Griswolds. This happened in Rocky Balboa too. Paulie Panino.
Right.
Is his name. In the 6th movie in the series, they're shown at a press conference or something with his name on a sign, and it says Panina. And I'm like, what are you doing? How are you getting this name spelled wrong? And nobody caught that. That drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Sorry.
In this movie, they could probably write it off as a gag, but in the Rocky movie, I probably no excuse for it, but it's something where somebody had written it down. So I could see somebody not getting the name and him not noticing that it's not spelled right. Cause he's not looking at the sign to see if it's spelled correctly. He's just at a press conference to answer questions or whatever. So in Rocky, it's like less of an excuse for it, but it's some of the details people don't pay attention. It's like,
that's somebody's job, right?
It's like a medieval show like Game of Thrones, and somebody has a Starbucks cup.
Yeah.
So they have to go back and digitally erase the Starbucks cup.
That kind of stuff drives me nuts.
Or even probably one of the stagehands had brought to the set and not paying attention to the scene.
Yep.
So, accidents happen, I guess.
Yeah, I know. I understand how it can happen, but the fact that nobody catches it drives me nuts.
Right. Or they caught it and it was like, well, it's too late now. It's already shot. And it's like it would cost us X amount of thousands of dollars to try to fix it.
True. Some trivia in addition to the name change is that Eric Idle, the guy who plays the bicyclist that they keep seeing, he and Chevy Chase became friends after the filming of this movie. And they started working on a screenplay for a follow-up called National Lampoon's Australian Vacation. And they had some gags planned out, including some shark-related ones. But I guess they abandoned the project shortly after. They couldn't come up with a whole movie. But I would like to see the Australian Vacation movie.
Yeah.
I think that would be fun.
I don't see why they couldn't come up with a bunch of gags for Australia, because you can have so much fun with how dangerous Australia is.
Yeah.
Everything there is designed to kill you. It's like all the animals are deadly, all the plants are poisonous. You can have a lot of fun with that.
I agree. It's like National Lampoons meets Crocodile Dundee.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what they should have done. Not surprisingly, so I don't know if you're aware or not that Chevy Chase is notoriously hard to work with and kind of a dick.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're aware of that.
Yeah, I've heard he's problematic at
Yeah.
best.
So he and Amy Heckerling, the director,
Right.
really did not get along. So
Oh,
much so that one report said that she refused to step on set unless she had a plane ticket on to New York, ready to leave at any time she wanted if she got so fed up with Chevy.
you know, it's funny. I thought that he was like that in his old age, but apparently he's always like that. And then I think like even him and some members of the Saturday Night Live cast didn't get along. I think maybe him and Bill Murray didn't get along. I don't know.
Yes, you're
But
right. They didn't, because he's also kind of they're both
yes,
just
they're
very
both
strong.
hard to work with.
Yeah.
Correct.
So I can see that being a disaster waiting.
They're both weird in their
Yeah.
own ways.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see what else. Oh, you probably did not notice their T-shirts that said Wally World.
I've seen that.
Several of the cast member or the family were wearing them throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Well, that was the ultimate destination in the first film.
Oh, okay.
So it was fun for us to see that carry through, that they were wearing their touristy T-shirts from Wally World. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw the Wally World. I didn't know what the reference was because when I think of Wally World, I think people are referencing Walmart. That's what it's referred to. That's Wally World today.
Yes.
Back in the day, it was a fictional amusement park.
It was. Mm-hmm. You have to go back and watch the original now.
Yes.
One of the best parts of the other originals is Cousin Eddie, which you're missing out on in this movie. But yeah, he doesn't appear. It's the only of the original 4, I think. Is he in Vegas? Yeah. Cousin Eddie, who's quite a character, played by Randy Quaid.
Oh, okay.
The less
that sounds
famous
fantastic.
Quaid brother. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you gotta, I feel like I'm selling hard the other ones. Christmas, especially, and the original Vacation.
So you're saying Randy Quaid was in Vacation and Christmas Vacation?
Yes.
And he wasn't in this one?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. He plays Cousin Eddie. Right. He's quite a character. He's probably
he's
one of the best
always
parts.
A character.
Yeah.
Even in real life, he's kind of a character. So he doesn't stop. He doesn't turn off for him.
That tracks. That doesn't surprise me at all.
If it's anything like the character he played in, what's that movie? It's that bowling movie, Kingpin. If it's like Kingpin, I know that I'm going to enjoy it.
You're going to enjoy it. I guarantee it, for Randy Quaid alone.
Yeah, yeah.
The other thing, I kind of forgot about this, but in 1985, it was still West Germany. That's where they went. There was still West and East Germany.
Right.
That's wild, because then I was reading there, they kept referencing, it shows, like on the Wikipedia, I think it shows like all the different locations that they go to, which was fun for me because I've been to on most of them. But then they did say that scenes supposedly taking place in West Germany were actually shot in a German-speaking part of Italy called Brixen.
That's fascinating. It's fascinating that there's a German-speaking part of Italy.
I know, right? Well, I suppose we have like little Italies here. You know,
yeah, but they're not speaking Italian. It's like people who happen to. Well, I guess maybe they are, but
the old people maybe. But
yeah. It's not like you walk in there and all of a sudden you can't understand what people are saying.
Good point.
But when you say that it's a German-speaking part of Italy, I'm imagining that when you go into that area, there's no Italian whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, wild, man. Yeah, well, I certainly enjoyed this, like more than I thought, because I guess I didn't have really any expectations. It had been so long since I'd seen this, and I really enjoyed it. Plus, it's like a little vacation yourself. We get to travel to Europe with them and see all the sights, so that was fun. It may not be the crown jewel of the vacation movies, but I found it awesome. Like a good little postcard, shall we say, from 1985.
Yeah.
So what are your final thoughts about European Vacation?
Yeah, I still enjoyed this movie. It was still fun to watch, even after all of these years. And brought back some memories of just being at home watching HBO, playing hooky from school or something.
I didn't have HBO when I was a
Yeah,
kid. So
yeah, that's how I watched it. I always found this movie amusing, and I was thoroughly amused again. So yeah, it was fun.
I can't thank you enough for joining me to talk about this, I guess, lesser. John Hughes didn't have such a huge part in it, but it's part of his character canon. I loved it. I always love talking nostalgia with you, Zoe. Please remind us where we can find you and what we can look forward to. 200th episode. You going to tease what it is?
Yeah, actually, we talked about the 200 episode a little bit. You brought up a certain character that wore white.
Really? Okay. Okay. That's a good
Yeah, yeah.
tease.
So my 200 episode will be in Star Wars,
Very nice.
and because you mentioned Luke Skywalker, and so I'm excited about that. And also, and I mentioned earlier that my next episode is going to be Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. I've been on a kind of a journey of comedic sci-fi films,
Okay.
or either comedic sci-fi or just kind of quirky sci-fi. So I had previously, like just recently, I've done Armageddon, which is kind of a quirky action thriller. And then I did, what was that one I did? Oh, so this is going to be the strangest movie that you may have heard people talk about. It's The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension. So
I've definitely heard of the movie, but I've
yeah,
not seen it.
I'm honestly, it is hard to recommend, but and even when when I watched it, because I had never watched the movie from beginning to end. Usually when I'm doing the movies on my show, it's movies that I've seen before because I grew up with them, and I'm basically reviewing my favorite movies. But this one was just a movie that I was fascinated with, but never watched the whole thing through. And it has, I guess now it would be considered an all-star cast because it had John Lithgow, Peter Weller,
Oh,
Christopher Lloyd.
really? Oh my God.
And Christopher Lloyd is really the star of this movie. Like, he plays the main villain. It's an alien invasion story. So the Buckaroo Banzai has to stop these aliens from invading Earth. That's his whole mission. And it's weirdly complex. It's got some weird humor in it because it's billed as a sci-fi comedy. Most of it I didn't find funny. It was just weird stuff that was happening. And like, all the aliens had the first name John, and there's one character named John Big Boutte, and and that's the one played by Christopher Lloyd. And so it's just a,
Does he have
like
a
I said,
big
it's hard to
bouquet?
recommend because it's, yeah. Well, his name, he wants people to call him Big Boutte, but people keep calling him Big Booty. John Big Booty, do this, do that. And then he'll get upset and he say, it's Big Boutte, Big Boutte. To me, that was the funniest part, him getting upset over people not saying his name the way he wanted it pronounced.
It sounds Spaceballs-esque, sort of.
Yeah, it's Spaceballs-esque. So it's hard to recommend, but I enjoyed it.
Okay.
So I put it that way.
All right. From what year? What year is that one?
That is, I want to say that it's like 1984, 85, something
Okay.
like that.
Yeah. It's in our sweet spot here.
It's the mid 80s. It's the early Peter Weller. I think it was before he did RoboCop.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think that's the movie where people know him from, before RoboCop. And then that's where the phrase, well, most people got familiar with the phrase, wherever you go, there you are. That's what people got familiar with that phrase. The movie didn't originate that idea or that phrase, but that's the movie that people most associate with that phrase.
I've
I don't know if
literally
you've
never
heard that
heard
one
that
before.
before. I feel like. But I'm weird. But either way, it sounds like you've got some fun episodes already out and some super fun episodes just about to come out. So everyone go check out Zoe on Backlook Cinema Podcast.
Yeah, you can find that at backlookcinema.com.
And thank you for joining us on this trip down memory lane. Now go write me a review and meet me next time for another retro adventure. And until next time, be kind, Rewind.